Thanks for everybody being here today. Obviously a fun weekend down in Conway, Arkansas. Really proud of our players and the resiliency that they showed, and how they fought back from the deficit that they were behind, and just kept playing football and not worrying about anything other than doing their job and doing it the way it's supposed to be. Credit goes to them. Players win games, and they went out there and took victory, and was really proud of them. Really proud of our coaching staff and the adjustments they made at halftime that helped us come out and put our guys in situations that they could go make plays and let them play ball. And so really proud of just everybody involved, from our strength coaches to our managers to our trainers to our support staff. It was a good long bus ride, and everything went smoothly, and just really, really pleased with how everything went. And now we're attacking open week, and we're having a couple of days off here, and we'll get back at it tomorrow with practice. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach, I saw the celebration in the locker room between running down the hill with the guys and, the fun that you guys are having this year. Just talk about that and how much fun this season has been, especially during this winning streak.
Well, I think it's a credit to our players. I mean, they're enjoying football, and I think we've got a group of men that have decided that football can be fun and it's important. There's some serious aspects to it, but having fun is one of the main things that you got to do. And if you enjoy each other and if you respect each other, I think the happiness comes in those locker room scenes. Obviously, you got to win to have those locker room scenes, because when we don't win, they're not as fun, obviously. But, I think they enjoy each other. I think that's a credit to, our staff and just some of the things we've done in the off season to get to know each other better, and not having a COVID, situation where we got to stay away from each other and don't get to know each other. So we're having fun. It's great. And we know we're only 7 days away from being humbled. So we got to continue to put them away and, put the wins away at 24 to 36 hours and then move on. So, but it's a whole lot more fun to win than it is to lose.
Hey, Walt, thanks so much for the time as always. Just the fact that maybe it's a bye week now, it's maybe not as hectic. You can take a bit of a moment to reflect back on this 4-game winning streak you guys have, which has come in so many different ways, defensive efforts, comeback wins like this past weekend. Just what do you think are the qualities of your football team that have allowed you guys to not only win 4 in a row, but also win in such a variety of different ways and maybe not become, one-dimensional in the way that you guys need to win a football game?
I think it just shows the versatility of our players, the commitment of our coaching staff and our support staff. I just think, all that rolls into one. And, I think the competition that we have at every position, and the competition we have and the competitors, I should say, that we have on our team, lends to the fact that we really don't look at the scoreboard. We really just want to be the best version of ourselves. Sometimes that's hard to do, but I think that's what it comes from is, I think there's a belief that no matter what the deficit is, we can come back. I don't hope we play that away all the time. I think we need to be the better version of ourselves in the first half more sometimes, than last week, obviously. But, I think you've seen it, like you said, it's different forms. The week before, I don't think we finished the game the way we should, but we came out and started the game we should. I still feel like we've got a lot of good football to play still, and that we've got to continue to improve each and every week. This week being a great improvement for us in a lot of different ways. But it's been fun to see our team and the different people step up and make the plays and compete to be able to be that guy and do that. So really proud of our players and our coaches.
And also as well, you mentioned just the fact earlier that, having maybe more of a traditional off season, getting time to bond, maybe help the team gel and help in that way. Yeah, both for yourself and your players, just how much do you think having a bit more of a normal lead up to this season helps in times like these where you're able to have team cohesion and, whether it's, facing a huge deficit against UCA, you're able to kind of maybe stick together a bit better than you could have last season, if that makes sense?
I think I think it's huge. I really do. I think it comes to trust. I think we got to build some, they learned to trust us and we've learned to trust them. And it's a mutual respect that we have. Do we always agree? No. Do we always, but families don't always agree. Families argue. Families have problems with each other. But in the end, they're all a family, right? And they go one way. Well, I think we've developed a relationship to where we trust each other and respect each other enough, that we can go do those things. And I think, what we've done in the summer and just being together and doing different things throughout the season and then last spring just helps build a bond. And, I think it's critical. I know as a position coach, when I coach the O-line, you got to have one of the tighter knit groups on the team, and you're always doing things with them to try to let them know, and see another side of you. I mean, our guys need to see my wife, my kids, my home, I still got a couple groups I got to bring over still. I hadn't been able to get it all done yet and trying to figure out time this week, but don't want to infringe on their personal time either, And so it's all important to do that. See our coaches as husbands and as fathers and different things. And I think when they see that, they understand that, and you just build a different bond. And then we've got to see them. We got to see them as fathers, as who they are, who they want to be, and where they come from. And we've been able to get to know that. I came in, didn't meet any of them's parents until really, later in the last season because of COVID. So just different things like that help build a trust, and you can continue to fight. You still got to have good football players, and they're good football players. But I think that has been key for us. Yes.
Two questions. One about the comeback. Can you relate this comeback to another one you've had in your coaching career? And secondly, what was the turning point, if there was one, in that game?
Well, to relate it would probably be hard to as a head coach. As an assistant, there's been a lot of comebacks that, not a lot, but there's been some comebacks. I know we were down a lot at Tennessee at one point when we played Florida and beat Florida in 16, and just very similar situation, probably not as much difference at one point, but I know it was double digits. And, bottom line is we knew we weren't making the plays we needed to make. And we just weren't in sync on both offense and defense in the first half. And, I think, we didn't come in and, somebody asked me earlier, did you come in and get after them and all that? No, because that's not what, I didn't think that was what was needed. I didn't know, but my gut feeling was, these guys need some direction on where we're going. And so I sent our support staff in early to talk to the guys and players and kind of get everybody calmed down, because I know everybody's going to be in there antsy and disappointed and all the feelings that come into it. And I pulled our staff together and I said, listen, we're not going to go in there and be negative. We're going to go in there and be positive. We're going to go in there and fix the problems. And we're going to put these guys in a situation to win. And we're going to ask them to respond. And, that's really what happened. And it's not like that was magic for me. That's just the gut feeling I had about this team, because I know we've got a bunch of men that want to win, that are passionate about winning, and we have to figure out what they can do to win. And so we came back and chipped away at it, and we got down to the 2-yard line and had the offsides, because I was going for it there. And then I just felt like we needed to get points out of there so we wouldn't lose, confidence and momentum, a little momentum we had. We did. Then we got the fumble on the kickoff return, or their kickoff return, and we got 7 points out of that. And I think that showed our defense, all right, we can come back, gave them life. And, our defense shut UCA out from the 8-13 mark in the third quarter. And our offense went 7 straight drives from the last drive in the first half all the way to the victory march, where they scored either 3 or 7 every time. I think that's, shows a lot about the character of the young men and our coaching staff.
Coach, in a game like this, whenever you're trying to get this big comeback, a lot of times there can be players that say things to their teammates. Did you notice any one or two guys that were really motivating your other teammates to come back and lead this charge on Saturday?
Well, and I think there's more than one or two. I think the belief was there. I mean, sometimes doubt sets in, but your belief, you got to listen. I always talk to the team about listening to your voices. There's a good voice and a bad voice, and that's reality. and so listen to the voices telling you to go do the things the right way. There are always going to be, that voice is telling you, no, you can't do it, give up, do this, do that. And I'm sure there were some people that had that voice in their mind. Hey, I told them to start the buses in the third quarter when they scored on the holding that they gave them. I said, start the buses and get the post-game meal here early because, this thing's going to end. And, I know Matt, y'all are going to talk to, he was angry about that. And I'm okay with that. Sometimes, reality is reality. And they went out there and made plays and just kept playing. And I think you saw the team as a whole do that. Do we have some that were discouraged? Sure. There's always people that are going to be discouraged, but that's okay. That's a raw emotional feeling. That means they're invested too. We just got to overcome that and smother that. And I think that's what they did. And the two guys you're talking to are two guys that did that. And so I'm proud of them, but I'm proud of other guys too that did that also.
Yeah, and Coach, talk about your special teams too. They were able to, get some key field goals there by Patrick Nations, especially some long ones as well. So talk about, how they've improved over the games because they had some mistakes earlier in the season, and now they've improved quite a bit.
Well, I think, knock on wood, the last couple of weeks we've knocked out the critical mistakes, okay, that can change a game. Are we playing perfect on special teams? No, but Patrick's hitting the ball well. And he's got a strong leg. We know that. I think he's had one miss, maybe two all year. But, it was critical that we get those points because in those drives, we didn't finish how we wanted to finish, but we got the points we needed. And it just kept chipping away and it kept letting us hang in the game. And then once we got momentum back, which is, getting momentum is so big, it just drove us to those touchdowns and kept us to where we knew, all right, we got a chance. And when we got the last touchdown, even if they'd have went down and kicked it, I thought if we had time left, we're going to get it close enough that Patrick can, can strike it from beyond 50. We might walk off and win this game. But our defense did a heck of a job on that last drive, 14 plays. Okay. And then blocked the kick. And we knew we had a chance to block that kick because, their guy was outside of his range. And so he was going to have to drive it more. And JoJo got up there and got a piece of it and did a great job. And, our defense played well that whole drive. We had a penalty that extended it that, whatever. And I can't decide what, I don't ever know what the call is on roughing the passer, whether it's 1 step or 2 steps. I've been told 2 steps. And then when you show them 1 step and they say, well, that was a little too much, and like, whatever, you just move on from it. But, they kept believing and kept fighting. And I'm really proud of that, those last 2 drives we had, because it really shows the character of our football team.
Matt, Coach talked about, what he said there in the third quarter and kind of what you all went with that or how you all used that as motivation. What were you saying to your teammates after that score and after y'all got down there in the third and to kind of motivate them to get this comeback into motion?
I basically just kept it honest, and I told them, I said, we're not playing EKU defense. So I looked to the offense and I was like, hey, offense, can y'all just keep us up, keep us motivated, keep us in there? Because there's been some games and some times where they've looked to us as a defense to keep them motivated and keep them in there. So I just looked to my brothers and I was like, hey, just keep us up. And then I looked to, as a defense, as being a leader, I just told them, I said, hey, we gotta play fundamental defense. We got to get back to where our keys and our understanding of football and just go out there and play our defense.
Hey, Matt, something Coach was talking about was just the fact that you guys had a bit more of a normal off season, more time for team bonding and stuff, and cohesion maybe pays off, in games like last week where you need to have a big comeback. And you've been a part of a lot of these EKU teams in recent years now. What do you think separates this year's team from past years or even last year's team, just in terms of togetherness and the way that you guys see each other as brothers and family members?
I feel like the biggest thing is the unselfishness amongst the players to just want to go out there and win. So we just got a very good competitive team. So everybody wants to go out there and contribute. So that's just probably the best thing, that nobody is ever looking for their stats. It's everybody is looking for the team stats. Everybody's looking for that win. Everybody's looking to improve on their characteristics to better the team. So that's just the biggest thing throughout the years that I've seen, that people just want to be hungry for learning the game, learning the small things to bring the team together.
You look at the way this defense has played all year with you and Bailey leading the team in tackles, and the defensive line has been playing really good. Davion Ross has made some big plays. Harrison made the big interception for a pick six a couple of weeks ago. It seems like the defense has really been a cohesive unit all year long, with somebody stepping up every week. So when you guys are hanging out, what do you all really talk about whenever you go back and think about the previous week's game?
So we try to just keep 1 week at a time, and like Coach Wells always say, just like that 24-hour rule of just accepting that. So I mean, in practice, we just go at each other in practice, and we just be like, okay, who's gonna make that play this week? Who's gonna have that big old tackle, that forced fumble this week, and try to create this turnover? And that just puts the edge on everybody's shoulder, and it makes somebody perform. And it's different every week. So we have Harrison, we have Joe Sales getting interceptions, we have me making tackles, Kyle Bailey making tackles, we have Davion Ross getting in there, Jaden in there getting everything. So it just puts a piece on everybody that we all just take in together and be like, okay, let's go get that next step.
One more question too. So you guys ranked 22nd this week in the rankings. Do you guys pay attention to that at all, or do you just on to the next week, or on to the bye week in this case?
Yeah, I think our main focus right now is getting back healthy for the bye week, to just focus on Lamar. Like in our team meeting, Coach Wells said, yeah, we're ranked, but that's a 1 week rule. We got to be humble, and just to stay humble for that week and to come out there and perform against Lamar, because now it brings a bigger chip on our shoulder that every team now is going to try to attack Eastern Kentucky in a way that trying to knock us off of our pedestal. So we're still trying to climb to the top, and we kind of keep it in focus because we got to praise each other for that. But then we snap back and clear, and we got to come to practice on Wednesday and focus in on just being consistent with our game.
Yeah, and what are some other things you guys want to improve on during this bye week? It's a good time of the season to have a bye week. So what do you guys want to improve on this week?
Our probably main improvement will be just getting healthy. We got a couple people that's banged up. Even I'm banged up a little bit with a little ankle injury, but that I've suffered in the game. But our main focus is just getting everybody healthy mentally, socially, and physically. So just trying to get everybody to keep that spirit alive, because it's going to be a tough stretch in these last 4 games that we're going to have, and then even trying to go to the playoffs, just making sure everybody has the mental capacity to just keep going and keep pushing.
We talked about the defense making big plays. There's been a lot of guys on offense that have made big plays for you this year, Matt, you included. Talk about the offense and the weapons that you guys have and the confidence that you all have, that you can, even if you fall behind by the margin you all did on Saturday, you can always come back and close that gap and win the football game.
One of the big things that the whole team has lived by is not watching the scoreboard. Coach Wells has constantly preached it to us. So I think that's one of the things that goes to a testament to our confidence, that we believe we can come back, or we believe that we can continue to pour it on an opponent. We tend not to watch the scoreboard. So even when we got down by a deficit, we knew that things weren't going the right way because we were not executing. So the confidence was always there. So I think that the big thing was we just continue to push and fix our problems so that the execution was there.
Throughout these press conferences throughout the year, we've asked a lot of people about Parker McKinney, and he seems like he's a real positive guy. He's fun to be around, and even whenever he makes a big play or somebody else makes a big play, he's like the first one out there to celebrate with them. So what's it like? What is your relationship with Parker, and what's it like having him as the quarterback of this team?
Parker McKinney, he's a great dude. He's one of them guys that it's hard not to like him on and off the field. As you said, whether it's him making a play or somebody else, he's the first one there to celebrate. That's just talks about the character of the guy he is. having him as a quarterback, this is going on my third year, so we built chemistry and we know what each other likes and how we like to do things. So having him as a quarterback is just a blessing because he's an even kill guy. He doesn't get too high or he doesn't ever get too low. So even when we got down in this past week, it was just him motivating the offense, just telling us keep going. We got this. Just like how we were chipping away with field goals, we knew we had to tweak small things to turn those field goals into touchdowns. So having him as a quarterback is nothing but a plus. I mean, he's a great dude on and off the field.
Yeah, and you mentioned a second ago, just like the confidence that the offense has, especially to come back from a deficit like that. What gives you and your teammates that confidence and that trust to be able to, even when you're getting field goals, still continue to chip away or just know that you have to tweak one or two things in order to get the right outcome like you guys eventually did?
I think that speaks about the trust that we have with our coaching staff. Central Arkansas this past week, the previous week they had a bye week, so they were able to watch our game and scheme up. So the first half, I mean, they had a good game plan, and we just had to make adjustments and trust that those adjustments were going to work. So that's part of the confidence that comes with it, trusting our coaches and trusting in that our players, we would tweak our mistakes or correct our mistakes to get the ultimate goal, which is the correct execution.